Hi, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Inside Military Pigskin, presented by Navy Federal Credit Union, where our members are the mission. Frank Frangie and Ian Shields. We're talking about Service Academy football, but this year it starts with Army. Another Commander-in-Chief Trophy championship. Boy, that Army program's good.
Yeah, they're on a roll. Coach Monk and his staff have done a wonderful job to win the Commander-in-Chief Trophy for the second year. It doesn't get any bigger than that. And then, again, a nice home win. I think it's the 11th straight win at Mikey Stadium. So big things are happening there at West Point.
We'll talk a lot about Army coming up a little bit later on in the program. But let's kick it off with our Navy Federal Game of the Week. Navy against a very good team, the University of Central Florida. Give Navy credit. They're not afraid to play these good teams. It's astounding. Their last four opponents, their records 32-3. Here comes a UCF team that thinks it was a national champion a year ago. Awfully good team. Tough challenge again for the Middies. My goodness, they have played some terrific football teams.
Yeah, you could argue that nobody in the country has played a tougher schedule than the Naval Academy over the last 4 or 5 weeks. It doesn't get any easier this week, going down on the road to Orlando to play the UCF Knights. Real challenge with Milton at quarterback. Navy's got their hands full once again this week.
And boy, Coach Ken Niumatalolo knows how good these teams are they're playing. He also knows, though, he has to have his team ready.
You know, we're a team that's trying to find our identity, unfortunately. And then now we go play another undefeated team that hasn't lost 22 games. So
right.
It's a lot of things, Wags. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you know what I mean? Yeah, we'd like to play better, and we'd like to get some stuff better. And it doesn't help that we're playing
Good competition.
I mean, the best we've ever played.
Right.
I'll put it like that. I mean, that's this stretch,
Right.
since I've been here, I've never seen a stretch like this.
Tough challenge, no question about it for this Navy football team. Now, a little bit of a change. Zach Abey goes back to quarterback. He's played all over, short yardage quarterback and some other spots. I guess it helps the guy's done a lot of this stuff, doesn't it?
Yeah, well, Zach's a tremendous athlete. Obviously, he was the starting quarterback earlier, highly accomplished, scored a lot of touchdowns, played well. But that challenge against Cincinnati, that wasn't on Zach Abey. I know Coach Niumatalolo was trying to find a spark there with a new quarterback, but Zach can't block it up front, and that was really the story of that last contest.
Well, this much is for sure. Zach Abey's been all around. He knows this week really isn't all that different.
Being the short yardage guy, like I've been under center all year, just not running the whole offense, but running mainly what I do, even when I'm at quarterback now. So it really wasn't that big of a change.
You know, one thing, Ian, about the offense that they run at Army Navy, and certainly you do at Jacksonville University, so you know it very well, quarterbacks and running backs aren't all that different, really, are they?
No, there's a lot of similar skill sets. It obviously starts with the legs, the explosive playmaking ability. Certainly, you're looking for a quarterback that can distribute the ball through the air. And again, I think that's the challenge. You know, Army has found that in Kelvin Hopkins, and both Navy and Air Force this year have struggled mixing and matching that position, and that's probably the reason why the teams are where they're at.
All right, let's find out a little bit more about this fantastic UCF team. This is our enemy intel segment, and longest winning streak in the nation. You know that by now, 21 games. They're second in the nation in turnover margin. How about this? In that offense where they play so fast and snap it so many times, only 6 turnovers all year long. How about that? They've only lost 1 fumble all year. And they snap that thing 70, 80 times, but they don't turn it over.
No, they don't. And that's a credit to the quarterback, Mackenzie Milton, one of the most accomplished players certainly over the last 2 years in college football. He does everything right, takes care of the ball. They put up a ton of points, and also he wins games.
All right, big challenge for the Navy football team. Now to find out a little bit more about Navy, as always, we bring in the third member of our team. That's Lauren Brooks. Hey, Lauren.
Hey, Frank. It's been a roller coaster for Navy this season. Sydney Sims has more on the midshipmen trying to get through the bumpy ride.
Thank you, Lauren. Navy football has found themselves to be in a little bit of a rough patch, losing their last 6 games. This is the first time since 2011 that they've done such a thing.
We're at the amusement park. We can see it, and we're we're right there and we're close, and we can say, hey, we're right there, but we're still on the outside looking in.
It comes down to execution. It comes down to play calling. And again, it always comes back to just, again, helping our kids be successful. Again, we're going to play against better talent, but our offense is designed to level the playing field. That's what we want to do. And when we go out there in the game, you got to help these kids, by put them in the right place where they can go out and execute and be able to make those great athletes on defense, make them one-dimensional.
So we just got to continue to keep pressing forward. You look at everything. You as coaches look at what we're doing. Because we're trying to put our finger, obviously if we could have put our finger on it.
The midshipmen will be going to Florida to take on the UCF Knights Saturday at noon. With Inside Military Pigskin from Navy, This is Sydney Sims.
Thanks, Sydney. When we come back, we will announce the recipient of this year's 2018 Defender of the Nation Award. Inside Military Pigskin is presented by Navy Federal Credit Union, proudly serving the armed forces, veterans, and their families for over 85 years. Insured by NCUA.
Here, I test my limits. Here, I find my purpose.
Here, I attend a top-ranked school and am taught by the best. Here, I am part of something bigger than myself.
Here, at the United States Naval Academy, we wear the Navy blue and gold.
What's a day like at the Academy?
Get up.
Get ready.
Eat breakfast.
Drill. Learn.
Learn.
Play.
Play.
Drill.
Study.
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 Eat dinner.
And study.
Go to bed. Get up. Do it again.
Are you ready?
Are you ready?
Are you ready?
The U.S. Coast Guard Academy. Honor, respect, devotion to duty. Apply today.
There's nothing average about the Air Force Academy or those who come here.
It takes more than smarts and good grades.
It takes grit.
It's for the I never quit students, the relentless, persevering, most likely to keep trying until I reach my best students.
Because we will go on to lead others, push boundaries, save lives, and represent American ideals.
If you've got what it takes, prove it.
The United States Military Academy educates, trains, and inspires young men and women to become leaders of character, committed to the values of duty, honor, country, and there's so much more. Ranked among America's top schools, more than 35 majors, high-tech facilities, hands-on experiences, leadership, history, tradition. West Point, America's Academy.
Welcome back to Inside Military Pigskin, presented by Navy Federal Credit Union, where our members are the mission. The Charlotte Touchdown Club has announced the 2018 Defender of the Nation recipient, and this year's winner is Sean Williams from the United States Naval Academy. Sean Williams is a starter at safety, majoring in quantitative economics. He was a 2017 Honorable Mention All-American Athletic Conference selection. The Charlotte Touchdown Club will recognize Sean on December 3rd at their banquet. Congratulations to all of the 2018 nominees. One of those was Kenneth Brinson Jr., also a Campbell Trophy finalist, and Zach Daly caught up with him.
Thanks, Lauren. Back in 2011, Andrew Rodriguez became the first Black Knight to win the Campbell Trophy, known as the academic Heisman in college football, handed out by the National Football Foundation every year. And this year, the Black Knights are looking for their second, as senior outside linebacker Kenneth Brinson has been named a finalist. But he knows he didn't get there by himself. He's had a lot of people help him along the way.
I think to me it's been more about like thinking about all the people who've just got me to this place, like this like amazing like group of individuals who've got me here. You know, it's been really, I guess, kind of eye-opening thinking back to how early it started to now. I think my life is special, and special to me because I think everyone had like this small little part, like, you know, everyone kind of picked up like a rock or a stone and they kind of put it in my pile, and eventually that pile just built up to what it is now. So, you know, I think my parents definitely made a significant contribution to that. You know, there are people here who I've met who made a significant contribution, and obviously the faculty and staff here, and you know, the sport and all my mentors. So, you know, everyone's carrying a lot of weight to get me to where I am.
Brinson will find out on December 4th if he is the winner of the Campbell Trophy. It's going to take place in New York City. The Black Knight is looking to join a host of other winners, notably Peyton Manning, Chad Pennington, and Tim Tebow, also on that list, winners of the Campbell Trophy. Black Knights this weekend looking for win number 8 on the season as they take on the Leopards of Lafayette at home. I'm Zach Daly for Inside Military Pigskin.
Thanks, Zach. The Black Knights are riding a 5-game win streak and looking to add to it. For more on Army going up against Lafayette, here's Frank and Ian.
All right, Lauren, thank you very, very much. We'll get to Army in a second, but the award, the Defender of the Nation, that the Charlotte Touchdown Club does, that's a neat thing, isn't it? A good defensive player that plays hard. There's some cool candidates in that thing.
Oh, there's some great candidates, and it is a prestigious award. And it's wonderful to see these young men who are tremendous representatives of their institutions, but also our country.
All right, let's turn our attention now to this terrific Army football team and its matchup this week against Lafayette. Army and Lafayette gets together this week. We'll talk about that game in just a bit. But before we get too far into it, last week Army beats Air Force and again wins the Commander-in-Chief Trophy. First time they've ever held it after winning it back-to-back years now for Army. Boy, Jeff Monken's got it going on, doesn't he, Ian?
Oh, he does. Coach Monken and the staff, again, a tremendous job winning Commander-in-Chief Trophy for back-to-back years. That's a big deal. It's as big as it gets, frankly. That's goal number one on the goal boards in the Academy. So kudos to Coach Monken and the staff.
Here's a look at the Commander-in-Chief Award winners in recent years, or Commander-in-Chief Trophy, I should say, winners. Look at it right there. Army back-to-back. Before that, Air Force had won it 2 out of 3. Remember now, it wasn't that long ago, and you know this, Ian, you were coaching in the Army, Navy was dominant. So it really has changed a little bit who winds up winning that award. It's cyclical, isn't it?
It is cyclical. And again, Army has the upper hand right now. But I think, and even those at West Point on the banks of the Hudson would say this, that Commander-in-Chief will bring a little hollow if they don't finish with a victory over Navy to end the year.
All right, let's talk about this game against Lafayette. Look, Army's played such a great schedule, Oklahoma and others on that schedule all year long. Not every game is going to be a highly touted opponent, but Jeff Monken knows his team needs to keep getting better.
That's the challenge for us, is to try to improve and try to be playing our very best football at this time of the year. We should be. We're well into the season, and we made some mistakes Saturday that, frankly, I don't think we should be making at this time of the year. So hopefully we'll improve on those things and play better this.
So after you've played all these high-flying opponents and highly talked about opponents, now you play one not as talked about from another division. Is that a challenge for a coach to keep your team focused?
It certainly is, and it's a time where you could drop your guard and have an emotional letdown. Obviously, Coach Monken and the staff are aware of that. Army's got to be careful here. They're going to have a proud Lafayette team coming in there. It's not having the year they wanted, but they're going to come into Mikey Stadium and put up a fight.
Let's talk a little bit more about this Lafayette team. It is our enemy intel segment. We'll tell you a little bit more. Lafayette won one time in the series a whole long time ago. The Leopards' defense is allowing almost 30 points a game. Now, Sean O'Malley's the quarterback. But it is a team that struggled a little bit. Jeff Monken made an interesting point about this matchup. Even though it's FBS versus FCS, it's not like it's Oklahoma or LSU who gets all these highly touted prospects. Monken made the point, the difference between these players isn't all that great.
It's the same guys we're playing with. So, we don't have a room full of guys that had, 4 and 5 stars next to their name and had, 17 Power 5 offers that they turned down to come here. We just got a bunch of guys that love to play football and wanted to play college football at the highest level and had an opportunity to come here. And that doesn't mean we don't have some guys in this room that had scholarship offers. We do. But it's a lot closer than people realize in terms of the ability level from FBS and FCS.
That's really a good point, Ian. They're recruiting some of the same players. We lose sight of that. When Oklahoma plays Lafayette, they're recruiting different players. When Army plays Lafayette, they're recruiting a lot of the same players, aren't they?
Well, they are. You're looking for an academic profile. And again, at Army, you have to have a young man that's willing to step up and serve his country. And that's different. And so you'll get some kids, you'll be sitting in the same living room as an academy football coach, and you may not get a kid that's offered at the FCS level.
All right, we always like to let you get closer to a player from one of these schools in some sport from years gone by. To do that, once again, here's our Lauren Brooks.
Thanks, Frank. I'm excited now to be joined by Joe Peppers, who played both basketball and ran track for Army. Joe, thanks so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. All right, so why did you decide to attend West Point?
Well, West Point was not in my original plans. I had a plan to go to a school in Virginia, and when I found out about West Point, it was by chance, and the recruiter brought a yearbook, and I just fell in love from that point on. I had to go.
And then after graduation, you served for our country over in Iraq. What was that experience like?
It was interesting, challenging, most difficult thing I've ever done, probably the most awesome thing I've ever done too, just to give back to our country and to serve the men and women in Iraq. It was an amazing experience to really stand up for what we believe in as a country. So I'm blessed to have had that opportunity.
Well, thank you for your service, certainly. And now you serve the community of Jacksonville, Florida. You're the CEO of Kids Hope Alliance. How do you help families in Jacksonville?
Yeah, so Kids Hope Alliance is the city's fiscal agent for children's services. Basically, we mostly fund after school and summer programming, but we also fund something that's sort of unprecedented. We fund about 66 mental health therapists in our school. So it's a really amazing opportunity and a blessing to be able to provide funding for child services for At Hope kids.
All right, and is there something you'd like to say to the men and women, the servicemen and women out there watching on the American Forces Television Network?
Yeah, so I definitely remember those 3 long years being where you are, and so I'm just super grateful for you all. I can't wait for you all to get home wherever you're coming from, wherever you are. Just know that we're all thinking of you, and we wouldn't be America without you. Also, go Army, beat Navy.
Good one. And we will certainly preview that Army-Navy game here in a couple of weeks. All right, Joe, thank you so much for joining us and taking the time out of your busy schedule.
Sure, thank you for having me again.
Absolutely. Thanks again to Joe. And coming up next, we will take a look at the Falcons of Air Force.
The United States Military Academy educates, trains, and inspires young men and women to become leaders of character, committed to the values of duty, honor, country, and there's so much more. Ranked among America's top schools, more than 35 majors, high-tech facilities, hands-on experiences, leadership, history, tradition. West Point, America's Academy.
Here, I test my limits. Here, I find my purpose.
Here, I attend a top-ranked school and am taught by the best.
Here, I am part of something bigger than myself.
Here at the United States Naval Academy, we wear the Navy blue and gold.
What's a day like at the academy?
Get up,
Get ready.
eat breakfast.
Drill.
Learn. Learn.
Play.
Play.
Drill.
Study.
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 Eat dinner. And study. Go to bed.
Get up. Do it again.
Are you ready?
Are you ready?
Are you ready?
The U.S. Coast Guard Academy. Honor, respect, devotion to duty. Apply today.
There's nothing average about the Air Force Academy or those who come here.
It takes more than smarts and good grades.
It takes grit.
It's for the I never quit students, the relentless, persevering, most likely to keep trying until I reach my best students.
Because we will go on to lead others, push boundaries, save lives, and represent American ideals.
If you've got what it takes, prove it.
Welcome back to Inside Military Pigskin, presented by Navy Federal Credit Union, where our members are the mission. After their Commander-in-Chief's loss to Army last week, the Falcons of Air Force have a new focus, and Sam Farnsworth has more in Colorado Springs.
All right, thanks, Lauren. To say the loss to Army last weekend was devastating, that'd probably be an understatement for this Falcons team, because conference championship hopes, they were already out of sight. That was this team's title game, and the bitter taste from that, it carried with the team over the weekend into Monday's practice. But it was at that moment that the senior class decided they were not going to let that loss end this season.
We talked with Coach Calhoun, the seniors did, about going forward, about something, things that we could do differently maybe in these next 3 games to make sure, we're healthy in the long run and that we'll be ready to go for these last 3 games.
Everybody in that locker room wants to win out, show them what Air Force is about. Honestly, just coming full steam ahead, giving everything I got to the team, and hopefully we win out and we get a bowl. So I'm just doing everything that I can possible to do the job and on the defensive line, and then to motivate others to do their job as well.
The motivation of that senior class is beginning to trickle down to the underclassmen as well. They want this team to go out on a high note too.
And the younger guys, I've had multiple of them come up to me and be like, "Hey man, we're gonna get you to a bowl game," because they wanted to get us to the White House, but they were like, they felt obligation now to try to get us to a bowl game and continue the season.
Senior defensive lineman Michael Capra is one of the few current Falcons to have experienced a bowl game before. He traveled with the team 2 years ago. He says it's an experience that he should probably be sharing with his teammates more often. It could help motivate them going down this final stretch of the season. After all, Capra did tell me, quote, "Going to a bowl game is fun." Reporting from the Air Force Academy for Inside Military Pigskin, I'm Sam Farnsworth.
Thanks, Sam. For more on Air Force taking on New Mexico, here's Frank and Ian.
All right, Lauren, thank you very much. This Air Force football team lost last week to Army, but they hung around. I mean, I thought they battled last week, didn't they?
They showed a lot of fight. That was a hard-fought football game. It's a rival game. Stakes were exceptionally high. Everyone put their best foot forward. I thought Air Force did a tremendous job defensively in that game.
Let's talk quarterbacks for a second. Interesting quarterback matchup or battle. Isaiah Sanders and DJ Hammond have both wound up playing now. Both guys wound up playing for this Air Force football team. They're both young guys. They're both playing pretty well at times, aren't they?
Yeah, it's been up and down with both of them, depending on health, and that's been the big issue. You really liked what DJ Hammond brought into the table the second half of that Army contest last Saturday. Came in, distributed the ball well through the air, made some plays with his legs as well. He's a real talent. If he's full speed and ready to go, obviously I think he'll get the nod against New Mexico with Sanders in waiting. But they're both capable and both can win.
And with two young quarterbacks, Troy Calhoun says it's not that bad a thing when both of them play.
For both those guys, this first time where they've really played, a good bit of college football. And, each and every week there's so many new experiences for them that they're exposed to, whether it's a coverage, whether it's in terms of the time of a ball when it has to be released.
All right, you're an offensive coach, head coach and an offensive coach. Two quarterbacks. Is it harder? Can you gain something with the other guy watching the first guy play and then going into the game? How does it work?
I think every head coach and coordinator, the preference would be to have one. But at times, playing two can work. You can look around the country, and other people are doing it right now. Georgia Tech's doing a tremendous job recently with two option quarterbacks coming in and coming out. It can make it difficult in preparation for the opposition. I think there's some advantage in that.
All right, and it'll be interesting to see what happens. Let's tell you a little bit more about this New Mexico team. Here is our enemy intel. They've won 3 of the last 4 against Air Force. Get this, New Mexico's used 3 starting quarterbacks this season. Only 4 teams have done that in the nation, and 2 of them are playing in this game. Obviously, Colton Gerhardt is the current starter, but New Mexico is kind of in a similar situation, aren't they? They've had to play 3 guys, too. This is really 2 offenses kind of trying to find themselves, isn't it?
Yeah, you hate to have musical chairs going on at the quarterback position. That's what's happening here. Colton Gerhardt, Toby Gerhardt's younger brother, actually, was a Stanford Heisman finalist, a real tremendous talent as well. You have a new offensive coordinator in New Mexico, putting some new wrinkles in all season long, and it just takes time for it to catch and find the right guy under center.
Let's turn our attention now to the Coast Guard Academy. What a big win for the Coast Guard last week over WPI. Boy, they needed that, and it makes for a very good season.
Makes for a great season. A couple big things happened there. Ryan Jones, at quarterback, had a tremendous day. 30 for 37, 3 touchdowns. Led to the win, obviously, over WPI. And then, more importantly, clinched a winning season for Coast Guard. First time in a while.
So now a very big opponent. Merchant Marine, 7-1 on the season. Big win last week, but don't get too excited because you got a very, very good opponent this week. One of the best opponents they'll play all year.
It is, and it's a rival game, playing for the Secretary's Cup, and then also, no big deal, we're going to play for a conference championship too. So again, huge game this coming Saturday.
Here's our enemy intel. The game is played, by the way, for the Secretary's Cup. Let's tell you a little bit more about this Merchant Marines team, and they are a very good team. The last time they won, Coast Guard won there, was in 1996. The Mariners 7-1, and they can clinch a share of the conference title coming up with a win. But you know what? I think Coast Guard's got a little momentum here. It's been a while since they've played this well, Ian. I sense that this is a team playing for the first time in a while with a little bit of momentum.
Yeah, I think Coast Guard is going to be excited to play this Saturday. Again, the stakes are high, a rival game. It's what college football is all about. And I like Coast Guard's chance. We know the Merchant Marines is a tough football team, but I like Coast Guard's chances to come out with a big-time victory here.
All right, we are almost out of time, but don't go anywhere. We still have to tell you what we are at ease about. When we come back, Lauren Brooks joins us up here on set. That and more, so stay with us.
What's a day like at the Academy?
Get up.
Get ready.
Eat breakfast.
Drill.
Learn. Learn.
Play.
Play.
Drill.
Study.
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 Eat dinner and study. Go to bed.
Get up. Do it again.
Are you ready?
Are you ready?
Are you ready?
The U.S. Coast Guard Academy. Honor, respect, devotion to duty. Apply today.
There's nothing average about the Air Force Academy or those who come here.
It takes more than smarts and good grades.
It takes grit.
It's for the I never quit students, the relentless, persevering, most likely to keep trying until I reach my best students.
Because we will go on to lead others, push boundaries, save lives, and represent American ideals.
If you've got what it takes, prove it.
The United States Military Academy educates, trains, and inspires young men and women to become leaders of character, committed to the values of duty, honor, country, and there's so much more. Ranked among America's top schools, more than 35 majors, high-tech facilities, hands-on experiences, leadership, history, tradition. West Point, America's Academy.
Here, I test my limits. Here, I find my purpose.
Here, I attend a top-ranked school and am taught by the best.
Here, I am part of something bigger than myself.
Here at the United States Naval Academy, we wear the Navy blue and gold.
Welcome back to Inside Military Pigskin, presented by Navy Federal Credit Union, where our members are the mission. Frank Frangie, Ian Shields, and Lauren Brooks joins us up here. How you doing?
After wearing heels for the last hour, it's wonderful to be sitting on the set, gentlemen.
Well, it's great to have you. We do have breaking news, by the way. We're going to tell you what we're at ease about, and Lauren actually has Navy.
I do have Navy, and yes, a lot of times I choose Army because it's the team I think is definitely going to win. They've been on a bit of a win streak, but this week I've got Navy. Why, you say? Because they're going up a 12th ranked UCF team that's pretty good. Well, here's the thing. Navy has a propensity, their defense, to cause and recover fumbles. They are 6th in the nation with 10 recovered fumbles. Well, 5 of those belong to safety Sean Williams, and he was our Defender of the Nation recipient, who we told you about earlier in the show. So I'm at ease about Navy.
You know what? And I like it. Navy's got an interesting matchup. They're going to be fun to watch. And Sean Williams, by the way, is a very good player, so he's a good guy to cite. And good guy to be at ease about. What are you at ease about?
I'm at ease about Air Force against New Mexico. Air Force is playing outstanding defense right now. They'll need to against New Mexico's run-first offense. I'm also at ease about DJ Hammond lighting it up. I think he's going to take this opportunity and run with it and play well this coming Saturday.
All right, I'm at ease about Army because they're way better than Lafayette. That's why I'm at ease about them. They're going to win because they're better. They've got better players, and they have a better team, and that's why I'm at ease. But I will tell you this. It's a neat season that Jeff Monken and that Army team are having. It's a legitimately good season. They should be proud all the way back to that Oklahoma game where they battled the way they did. What a nice season for this Army football team. You better believe I'm at ease about them. Folks, that is our program. We thank you for joining us this week on Inside Military Pigskin. For Lauren Brooks and for Ian Shields, I'm Frank Frangie. So long.
Inside Military Pigskin was presented by Navy Federal Credit Union. At Navy Federal Credit Union, we have a mission to put members first by making their financial goals our priority. We proudly serve the Armed Forces, DoD, veterans, and their families. Confirm eligibility and join today. Our members are the mission, insured by NCUA.